Taylor, and I want to tell you about my dinner party. So, I had the opportunity to list 3 people that I would like to sit down and have dinner with. My first person that I listed is Neil Armstrong. My second person is Chris Stapleton, and my third person is Adam Sandler. These 3 people are important in their own ways, and I just want to sit down and have a nice little dinner party and ask them questions. My first questions, though, are relatively for you. So, have you ever wondered what it would be like to meet the man who walked on the moon in person? And what about one of your favorite actors, and if their personality and demeanor and all that reflects how it does on screen, if they're nice, if they're rude, if they're funny, if they're kind, I wanted to see if that would be the same as on television. And I also would love to bond with Chris Stapleton. I love all of his music, and I would just love to get to know him and get to know about his life. But as far as that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my dinner party, as we have already previewed the 3 of my guests. So let's go ahead and take a look now. So my person from history is Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon, and he was born in Ohio. So I think that's really interesting to see how an Ohio boy managed to work his way to the moon. I also wanted to just mention that not only was he an American astronaut, but he was also an aeronautical engineer. And I chose him because he has achieved many significant milestones between the human ability and space. And I think it's just really interesting how he managed to get his way to space, as it had never been done before, but he managed to accomplish it. And now in history, now people are still going to space and going to see things and discover things. So it really was a significant milestone in the human ability. But there is also a scholarship called the Neil Armstrong Graduate Scholarship, and I wanted to take a minute and talk about that because that just opens doors for a lot of people who are serious about that. And I wanted to know how he felt about it. And I also wanted to talk to him about what it is like to be the first person who has ever touched his feet onto the moon. Granted, it wasn't like his bare foot on the moon, but you understand what I'm getting at. And I also wanted to figure out how he managed to discover what needed to be done to get him to the moon. So I think those are some interesting things to talk about. But I think it would be even more interesting taking him and a person in the current famous industry, and also taking a musician and asking those questions and seeing how the musician and the famous person also reacts to it. So my current favorite famous person was Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler was an American actor and comedian. He still is. He is Jewish, which I find it really interesting. He's from Brooklyn, New York, and he has been acting since 1989, which is 36 years. He's been acting longer than I've been alive. And I chose him because his movies are funny, and he's one of the first people I could think about when it came down to a dinner party, because who wouldn't want to meet him? And he has been acting for so long. It's just unbelievable, really. And I wanted to talk to him about that. Like, if he ever got tired of acting, if there was ever a point in his life where he was like, I'm done acting. But that was one of the things I would really like to point out and talk to him about during this dinner party. I also wanted to talk to him about being Jewish. So I am one that is very interested and open-minded about religions and just that sort of thing. So I find it very interesting to learn about the Jewish community and the culture of it. And so I would really like to talk to him about that. I would also like to know why like his wife is in movies, and I wanted to know if his children ever wanted to go in and pursue those movies, or if there was any time in the time frame of them growing up where they stood on business and said, no, I don't want to be in one of your movies. So I did want to talk to him about that. I also have Chris Stapleton down. So Chris Stapleton is from Lexington, Kentucky. So I'm from Bell County, Kentucky, and he is from Lexington. And I know a lot of stereotypes say that people from Kentucky don't amount to much. We're just hillbilly rednecks. But he was also in two bands, the Steel Drivers and the Johnson Brothers, before he went solo. And he was originally in school for business, which is what I'm in school for. So that's pretty cool. But I chose him because he is talented, and he has co-wrote songs for other artists, and he showed people from Kentucky that you can be just as talented as people in bigger cities and counties and, states, and still achieve your dreams. So I actually wanted to talk to him about his music career and journey, how he decided exactly when he wanted to enter the music industry, but I also wanted to ask him how he felt when he was told that him and his wife was going to have twins, because they have children, and one pregnancy ended up being twins. So I think that's really interesting. I ask people that I know nowadays how they feel about having twins. A lot of people say it's unbelievable or shocking, but I just wanted to ask him because I look up to him. I really like his music. And I also wanted to know how hard it was to build a career in the music industry, being from Kentucky. So to recap all of this, my person from history is Neil Armstrong. He is the one that landed from the moon. Adam Sandler is my famous person, and he is an actor. Been an actor for a very long time. And Chris Stapleton is my wild card, and he is just someone I really enjoy listening to. He is a singer, and he's in the music industry. I think my dinner party would be pretty interesting, considering different backgrounds, like different states that they lived in. You've got a New Yorker, Ohioer, and you have a Kentuckian. So I wanted to incorporate that they are all from a different place. But I would also be honored to host this event, and it would be a wonderful time, I do believe. Thank you.